Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you are all doing well. Today I'm absolutely thrilled to share my thoughts on the Ohuhu Honolulu Art Markers 120 color set along with their mixed media pad, which Ohuhu was kind enough to send me for review. Throughout this video, I'll be sharing my initial sketch and the process of painting Jinx from Arcane traditionally with these amazing art supplies. I can't wait for you to see how they perform. So stick around and let's dive into the wall of Ohuhu art markers and see how creative we can get together. For this review, I decided to dive into the vibrant wall of Arcane and create a portrait of Jinx from the last season. That, by the way, I still have to finish, so please no spoilers in the comments. As someone who is used to work in a traditional medium, I thought it would be refreshing to take a more traditional approach while I still incorporate some digital planning on it. It's always exciting and challenging to mix up things, so first I created a sketch on my iPad, which helped me a lot to understand the space and the shapes I had to draw later on paper. Maybe if you are like me, a digital artist, you can try this when working on your sketchbook if you are not used to it. I decided to use a color pencil instead of the graphic one for the initial sketch. Alcohol markers tend to blend with the sketch, so I wanted to choose a color that would not only stand up, but also complement the final piece. Not to mention that I work very dirty when using graphic pencils because they smudge so easy over the paper. I don't know guys if you have noticed that. Further than that, this step is crucial because it helps to set the tone for the entire illustration right from the beginning. So I opted for a soft lilac, which I felt resonated well with Jinx's color palette. But seeing this with perspective, probably next time it could be better to try a complementary color instead to create more depth on the final piece. But well, these are the things that you learn over the process. Every time I work on my sketchbook, which honestly is just a few times over the year, I realize how poor my traditional art skill is. But even I feel I don't know how to draw with a regular pencil, after this small practice I do over the year, makes me see some progress. I think watching videos of other people working on their sketchbook really helped me to overcome the fear of doing something horrible and enter into the mindset of dealing with imperfection. So I approached this sketch far away from the perfectionism that I tend to put on my digital sketches. As you can see, I had to make a lot of corrections, but I managed to make it work in the end. I am always afraid of painting a sketch because I have the feeling I'm going to mess it up in the first paint stroke. At that point, I realized that maybe I was being so overdramatic while sketching because I accidentally engraved the sketch into the paper by pressing too hard with the pencil. But I can live with that. And finally, after all my drama with the sketch, I decided to erase it. Not fully, because I wanted to create light guidelines to map out the basic shapes and proportion on the paper, so I can still see it when I add the color with the markers. So I decided to work as I would do it if I were on my iPad, lowering the opacity of the layer and paint it in a new one, following the lines. I use a kneadable eraser for this task because I hate regular eraser mess. And now let's talk about the star of the show, the Ohuhu Honolulu art markers. These markers comes in a 120 color set, are truly a game changer for anyone looking to explore traditional art or expand the current toolkit. The set comes in a case that not only protects the marker but also makes organization super easy, as well as transportation. Each marker is clearly labeled with its color code, making it easy to find the exact shade you need. Also, it's very handy that they include the swatches to feel and see how the color looks on paper. One of the standout features of these markers is their dual tape design. On one hand, you have a beautifully soft brush nib that feels incredibly natural to use. It's perfect for creating different line weights, adding details, and achieving that smooth, painterly effect. On the other end, there's a chisel type that's ideal for covering larger areas quickly or creating crisp, straight edges. As I said, the color range in this set is truly impressive. You have an extensive palette to work with, from vibrant primaries to subtle earthy tones and everything in between. This set has got you covered. I found myself particularly drawn to the range of blues and purples, which were perfect for capturing Jinx's look. As I started laying down the first layers of color of the portrait, I was immediately struck by how smoothly these markers glide across the paper. The ink flow is consistent and even, allowing for seamless blending between colors. This is crucial when you're trying to achieve smooth gradients or create depth in your artwork. Speaking about blending, I was pleasantly surprised by how well these markers perform in this area. Alcohol-based markers are known for their blending capabilities, but the Ohuhu markers exceeded my expectations. I was able to create beautiful, soft transitions between colors, which was especially helpful when working on Jinx's hood. One thing I particularly appreciated was how the color remained vibrant even after the dry. Sometimes with markers, you can experience color shifts as the ink dries, but that wasn't the case here. What you see is very close to what you get once the piece is final, which makes planning your color scheme much easier. And now it's time to talk about the mixed media pad that Ohuhu sent me along with the markers. This pad is a real gem, especially for those of us who love working with alcohol markers. The paper quality is exceptional, and I think it's thick enough to handle multiple layers of ink without any bleeding or feathering, which I really appreciate. But the best feature of this pad that I absolutely love is the bleeding-proof plastic that they include to put between pages. This is such a thoughtful addition because, as we all know, alcohol markers have a tendency to bleed through paper. With this sheet, you don't have to worry anymore about reading the next page of your sketchbook. I think these are the kind of details that makes a brand, more closer to the needs of the artist. So I really appreciate Ohuhu has this thing in consideration. As I continue working on my Jinx portrait, I found myself really enjoying the texture of the paper. It's smooth enough for the markers to glide effortlessly, but also has just enough tooth to grab the ink and prevent it from pulling or creating uneven patches. This made it much easier to achieve the smooth coverage I was aiming for. As I don't have that much experience working with markers, I tried to experiment with different techniques, like for example layering the same color to create depth, but also using other darkened colors to create shadows and create more depth on my illustration. I have to say that the paper did a great job trying to handle the different layers I was putting in without any peeling or deterioration. This allowed me to build up rich, saturated areas of color that really made certain parts of the illustration pop. Once I finished adding all the colors with the markers, it was time to complete the illustration. This time I tried combining the markers with some colored pencils for add texture and detail. The mixed media pad handled very well the mixed media approach. The paper texture was perfect for picking up the color pencil pigment, allowing me to add fine details and highlights that really brought the piece to life. For the last part of the illustration, I even used acrylic markers on the top of alcohol markers in the pencil to see how the paper was handling all these combinations of pigments and different kind of mediums, because alcohol pencils are wet in some way, acrylic pencils are more harm to paper, and it's true that I saw a little bit of peeling, but nothing compares to to other kind of papers where or you can see the fabric attached to the nib of your marker. So overall, I'm quite happy with with how this pad works with different mediums and different combinations. And last but not least, I want to share with you some tips that I discovered during the process of making this illustration with the Ohuhu markers and the Ohuhu pad that might be helpful for you if you're looking to try out these markers. First, I suggest start working with lighter colors and build up gradually. So it's much easier to add depth by layering than it is to lighten areas that there's too dark from the beginning. Second, I think you can take advantage of the dual tips. I didn't make it this time because I love brush tips so much, but I really encourage you to use both tips on your works if you find that you need it. Don't be afraid to experiment with blending. These markers blend very well, so try experimenting with gradients or mixing colors directly on the paper. We have to know how to use all our supplies to get the better of them, because if we don't do that, they are not going to look good. Also, use the blending proof sheet in the mixed media pad. There's no discussion here. And try to combine the markers with other media as I did. I think they work really well with color pencils. They look very, soft, and I like the final result. In conclusion, I have to say I'm genuinely impressed with both the Ohuhu art markers and the mixed media path. The quality of both products and how they work together is outstanding, especially considering the competitive price point. So if you're interested in trying out these products for yourself, I have some exciting news. You can get 10% off on the Ohuhu website by using the code I'm leaving below on the description that you can find with a link. I think it's a great opportunity to expand your art supplies collection if you need more colors and you need to fill up these spaces, or if just you need to try something new. So if you have made it to the end of the video, thank you so much for watching the review, and I hope you find it helpful and maybe even you find some inspiration to try new things. Don't forget to like this video if you enjoy it, subscribe to the channel for more content like this, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any future uploads. Whether you're working digitally or traditionally, the most important thing is to keep creating and enjoying the process. See you in the next video. Stay creative. Bye bye.